Are we live? We're live. We're live and kicking. Awesome. Welcome to our Tuesday edition of our YouTube live Q&A for Decker Truckline. So if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome. If you've been here before, then you know the drill. Please, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the chat, and that way we can get to the answers right away. And of course, you can always get a hold of one of the recruiters. You can reach them at 888-668-0698, 888-668, yep, 0698. And you can also apply online at drivedecker.com. Not sure what my voice just did, but that was weird. Anyways, tell me where you're at. Let me know. Hey, Bob, good to see you. Long time no see. Let me know where you're at. And of course, ask any questions about what we've got available. You can ask any questions about Decker Truckline so that we can keep you well informed. Now, that being said, we do have some updates on some of the positions that we've been advertising for, and some of the different requirements. So we're going to talk more about the requirements that we have, since those are where our updates are this week, as well as some of the different positions that we have, so that you know how they'll correspond. So, Anna says, why do seagulls fly over the sea? Why? Bob says he's in Kansas on his way to Nebraska, hauling some pigs. Still busy with the pigs. Hey, Amy, made it just in time. Perfect. So let's just dive in. Before I do that, if you haven't already subscribe, and then click that little bell there. That way it'll notify you every time we go live. Right? Bobby, I'm sure you've clicked that. Amy. And then always follow us on our Facebook. We are very active on our Facebook, and every Monday at 4 p.m. Central, we'll pop on, we'll do a Q&A, answer some questions. We usually have a topic for the week, but always available to answer some of those questions for you. So if you aren't already following us on Facebook, do it. If you aren't already subscribed to us, please do so as well. And as always, if anybody that you know could use this information, please send it to them. So share it to them and see what we can do. Hey, Jeremy, what do we have out of Des Moines, Iowa area? I'm too old, fat, and out of shape to throw tarps. Well, they are not light, so I can totally understand that. So we do have Refrigerated out of there. Anything along I-80 from Lincoln, Nebraska to Gary, Indiana, we also have van. So in both those locations. So if you're looking for refrigerated van, we can get you home weekly out of there. Hopefully that answers your question. We can give you some more details on experiences or pay as well for your experience. Give me what kind of experience do you have, Jeremy? And then I'll be even more specific. Sometimes, Bob, we're very serious here. He says we do BS a lot. Maybe. All right. So yeah. So if you didn't already notice, Anna did give you a little bit more detail too. So the Refrigerated, we can get you home weekly. We can get you home weekly in the van as well. You don't like flatbed. You don't want to do flatbed. So no worries there. With the, I was just trying to think, I-80. So we have our Midwest Refrigerated Guaranteed Pay as well. That one's a really good one. Everybody that we've got on that one actually makes beyond what that guaranteed pay is, which is fantastic. So it's it is $12.50, much better than $25, but it's $12.50 a week for that guaranteed pay in the refrigerated division. And then, like I said, a lot of the guys, they're making beyond that. So as long as the number of miles that you're running and the cents per mile, which for somebody who's experienced, you're probably, like, if you have 5-7 years, whatever, of experience, you're looking at 50 cents a mile to start off with. And of that 50 cents a mile, 10 cents of it's going to be per diem, a penny raise after 90 days, and then you'll also get a penny raise every year on your anniversary. It caps right now at 54, but you'll see that those increases. And that doesn't count any of the bonuses, which you'd also be able to qualify for. I mean, you have to earn it, but those are there as well. And we'll talk more about that as well with the monthly bonus. But the $12.50, you get that. That's your your security net. And as long as you've got 100% on-time delivery, so no driver service failures, you're available for dispatch all week, you don't refuse a load, and you turn in your paperwork, then you would qualify for the guaranteed pay because of where you're at. So those are the requirements. I know they're pretty basic, but you've got them set there. And so you also qualify for our sign-on bonus, which our sign-on bonus is very similar to a longevity bonus. It's very similar within the industry, but it pays at the end of your 1 year. So on your 1 year anniversary, you get the full $2,500 pays out in one lump sum. You do need to run a minimum of 110,000 miles to qualify for that one. So, but even if you weren't running the miles, you still have that $12.50 to protect you. So if you didn't meet the guaranteed pay, if you didn't meet the guaranteed pay qualifications, like I said, on-time delivery, being available for dispatch, getting your paperwork in, and no load refusals. So if you failed to do one of those, then what you will do is get the pay per mile, which, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay. So Jeremy says he's got over 20 years, 2.5 million mile accident free. Well, we would love to award you your 3 million mile award. So that would be fantastic. With the 20 years, you would definitely be starting at that 50, which is the top of that starting pay. And then, like I said, the penny raise after 90 days, and then every year on your anniversary, until you cap at 54. And then you would have that cents per mile times whatever miles you ran if you failed to meet those qualifications. But you would also get the cents per mile times the miles you ran if they exceeded what that $12.50 would have given you. So you're going to get the better of the two either way. There you go. That's what we've got out of the Des Moines area. But we also have the weekly, or you can stay out 2 weeks at a time. You can stay out on the weekly. To me, it just makes sense. Get the guaranteed pay, stay on those routes, and instead, if you're going to be home weekly anyway, might as well. Hey, Mudflap. There's a side conversation over here that I wasn't part of. A lot of giggles going on. Hey, Eddie. Yes. Good program. I'm proud of it. Very good. Okay. Any other questions on specific hiring areas? And we'll go through. We'll hit a lot of areas for you guys, but I don't want you to be afraid to ask obviously your specific location. So the changes that we've had in the hiring requirements, we'll hit on that. First off, most of the changes are in our flatbed division. So if you are in our Bessemer, Alabama terminal, or if you were going to hire on for the Bessemer, Alabama terminal, if that's where you were looking to run, which is our coast-to-coast flatbed position, most of the runs in that coast-to-coast position are actually in the Midwest and in the Southeast. And you're usually out 2 weeks at a time. There's definitely obsessions. There's definitely exceptions for that. So a few exceptions. If you want weekly home time, and you live in Alabama or Georgia, we've got those opportunities. So you have the option there. You can also stay out the 2 weeks, but we can do weekly as well. However, if you live in the West and you're interested in our flatbed position, so I'm talking California, Oregon, and Washington. Those are the 3 states that we hire out of here in the West. If you are in one of those, expect to be out 4 weeks at a time. That's what we can offer for home time, and still have a balance of miles and, actually hold true to that home time. So it is definitely a longer length of time out than it is for any of the other locations. And that's just because of the amount of freight that we have out there and the balance for who's running out there as well. I had something pertinent for that, but I don't remember what it was. For home time. That's where I was going. So 4 weeks out, basically wherever you're at, if you're running on a weekly home time, if you're running 2 weeks out, we figure for every 7 days you're out, you're looking at a day and a half home time. So if you're home on the weekends, at least a 34-hour restart. We are looking to do a 48. Like, our goal is to get you a 48. It doesn't always work that way. I know everybody who's been in the industry for a while, you guys totally understand. But our goal is to do that 48. So out in the West, obviously you're going to be getting more home time because you've been out longer. However, if you are one of those who like to be out on the road and you're not that interested in coming home because the money's out on the road, then if you don't plan on staying home that long, that's fine too. Obviously, you can make those changes. Adjustments, you talk to your driver manager, and making those changes won't be any problem. But now let's talk about the requirements for it. The requirements for that flatbed division that's based out of Bessemer, Alabama, that one requires 6 months of over-the-road tractor trailer experience. It doesn't have to be flatbed. It just has to be tractor trailer, and it has to be over the road. And it has to be 6 months. So that's our requirement. We are no longer at this point, and this may change. We're kind of in the midst of changing a few things on it. But for now, you must have 6 months of over-the-road tractor trailer experience. And for our flatbed division out of Bessemer, Alabama. If you have any questions for that, let us know. The number here is 888-668-0698. Now, that being said, we also have a Midwest flatbed division. The Midwest flatbed division, we also have made some changes on that. We are requiring 3 months of over-the-road tractor trailer experience. Again, it doesn't have to be flatbed experience, but it does need to be tractor trailer. We do train in flatbed. So we'll continue to train in flatbed in our orientations, whether they're in Bessemer or in Fort Dodge. And that training will consist of the tarping and securement. If you have 20 years of experience in the refrigerated trailers or maybe even van, then we can still train in the flatbed, and you can even go out with a flatbed trainer temporarily if need be to get a feel for it. But most of that training is following an orientation. So we have a week-long orientation in both Bessemer and Alabama, or actually in Bessemer, it's about a 10-day orientation because it's a little bit longer for those who have never done securement training. It's a little bit more thorough with the tarping and securement training. Whereas in Fort Dodge, we have more manpower up here. This is our main office. And so we're able to get through the orientation a little bit quicker, even with the additional securement training if need be. I know, Bob. How dare they? All right. What else am I? I'm missing this side conversation over here. But so that's the Midwest flatbed position. 3 months of over-the-road tractor trailer experience. If it's 3 months of flatbed, that's even better. But if it's only, if it's tractor trailer, maybe van, that's fine. That's totally fine too. Just expect that you'll be doing the securement training and following our orientation. Now, securement training and tarp training, we pay $100 a day for that. And again, it follows the orientation. We pay you $800 for orientation. Actually, $900 if you count the Visa gift card that you get on usually Wednesday or so, when the physical and drug and alcohol tests and all that stuff come back. Give you an old $100 Visa gift card. After that, we do split the $800 so that you are able to have the first $400 on a comm check. You'll have that before you're even dispatched out. So you'll have that handy. The second $400, that's direct deposited, as you'd expected. It's going to be on your first settlement. But this way, you've got a little bit of cash up front that when you're dispatched out, you'll have it in hand. So $900 total, so $800 and then the $100 Visa gift card. So that's what you get for orientation. However, if you're doing securement training, you're going to get an extra $100 a day for the securement and tarp training. It's usually anywhere from a day to 3 days. We can go as long as 5 days, but it's usually a day to 3 for that training. Anybody have any questions on that part? Nope. Okay. She is witty. Okay, fantastic. So that's where our change is right now, is the training. We do still train. We still, our trainers are still busy with the refrigerated side. And our flatbed trainers, they can still be basically taking on those who have maybe 3-4 months of experience. You could still possibly go with a trainer. Yeah, with a trainer in order to get a good grasp of flatbed, because flatbed is, like Jeremy said, it takes a little bit of getting used to. You've got to have some strength. That those tarps are pretty heavy. The steel tarps, those are 2 75-pound tarps. And then I was trying to think, 25-foot, 75-pound tarps. Yeah. And then the lumber tarps and stuff like that, those can weigh up to 120 or more, depending on if they're wet. If they're wet, you're looking at an extra 150 pounds that you're lifting over your head and throwing. Me too, Amy. She goes, I want $100 E. Bob, I would not be the help that you need for hauling the hogs. I just got back from one. You just plan it right so you don't miss our Mondays. All right. So what else do we have? The training. We've got guys that'll go and train you for the flatbed, hands-on and out on the road. But we also have refrigerated trainers. So same rules apply now as they did before for the requirements. If you just graduated from a PTDI certified school, here we go, Professional Truck Driving Institute, then you can qualify to come aboard and train. Also, the school needs to be a minimum of 160 hours. So the PTDI certified schools, those are 160 hours, or if the school is 160 hours, then you're good. A lot of community colleges, a lot of those are very common for schools that are at least 160 hours. A lot of those are 200 or more. TDI, Truck Driver Institute, I think that's actually 150, but that one's PTDI certified. Roadmaster, that's another one, PTDI certified. ICC out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, we work with them a lot. We get a lot of opportunity with them, and they're very good with their schooling. They also do our extended road tests if we need to determine whether or not one of our inexperienced drivers or minimal experienced drivers needs to go out with a trainer. They'll do our extended road test for us as well. But we do hire students for the refrigerated and van positions, because we do have van options as well. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. If you live along I-80 from Lincoln, Nebraska to Gary, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Greenville, South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Hartwell, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, we have van in those areas too. Just figure if you live along I-80, we can get you home weekly. But if you live in any of those other areas in Georgia or South Carolina, or even like St. Joe, Missouri is another area we do hire for in that van position, but that one's 2 weeks out along with the Carolina or with the South Carolina and Georgia area. So keep that in mind. So we do have a couple of different options with that. Yes, training pay for a refrigerated van is $500 a week. It's usually 3 to 5 weeks, but it really depends on what you're coming in at. If you just graduated from a school, figure 3 to 5 weeks. However you pick up, like how quickly you pick up everything, how long it takes you to learn and basically get your body acclimated to driving and being up those different hours and adjusting your hours of sleep. That's really what will determine how long you'll be with the trainer. Same with the van. If you have maybe a month or two, then you might only have a week to 3 weeks that you'll go with a trainer. But it's $500 a week, roughly $71 a day, and that's the training pay. So, and then that is in addition to orientation, because again, orientation is $800. That's going to be separate, but you'll go from orientation to training right away. I don't know, Amy. We'll have to find out from Courtney if there's anything. I'll look. I will look and holler back at you. Hang on, though. I gotta make myself a note. Otherwise, I won't look. Too many note pages. Amy, are you thinking? Because what about your little one? You have to be traveling in all the time, huh? All right, so those are the changes in our hiring requirements. Other than that, pretty much everything's the same, but if you didn't already know what those requirements are, let's take care of that. You do need to be at least 21 years old because it is interstate. and you'll need to be going from one state to the next. So intra is not going to work. At least a PTDI certified school for refrigerated and van, or 160 hours, or that is 160 hours, or 1 month of over-the-road experience. So if you have the school, but you don't have the 1 month experience, that's fine. You have to have one or the other for that. You need to know the rules and regulations of the FMCSA. That's a given, but in order to pass your test, to get your valid CDL, you should have already had that. That's a good point. Let me just back up. You do need to have a valid CDL, Class A CDL. You cannot have a permit only. A permit does not qualify you for the position. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Anna, for answering that for. So a permit does not qualify you. You have to have the valid Class A CDL. But you need to know the rules and the regulations of the FMCSA. You must be able to read, write, and speak English. Those are requirements as well. If you are not fluent in all three of them, then that does not work. You have to be fluent in all three of those. Again, your CDL has to be valid. DUIs, DWIs, OWIs, anything like that, if it was in a commercial vehicle, has to be 5 years old. 5 years old minimum if it was in a commercial vehicle. If it was in a personal vehicle, and this is the only one that we're gonna weigh separately, commercial versus personal. If it was in a personal vehicle, it has to be very minimum of 3 years old. So if you got your CDL 2 years ago and 3 years ago you had a DUI, you're going to have to wait 1 more year before we would be able to help you. But keep in mind, you also have to have recent experience, because if that school that you attended, if it was in fact a school that is how you obtained your license, that school that you attended, you have to start with us within 6 months of graduating a school. Ideally within 30 days, but within 6 months maximum. If you were looking at Decker after a year and you didn't have any driving experience or what, since you graduated and that was all the driving you had was just during graduation, you would not qualify. You would have to go back and take the course again, or a refresher course, but it'd have to be a very thorough refresher course since you didn't have any driving. Ideally, at that point, you would get a month of over-the-road tractor trailer experience, and then we could train you. Does that make sense? Is it crystal clear? If it makes sense, gotcha. Just type in there, gotcha. I just want to make sure that made sense to everybody. But you do have to come aboard within 6 months of graduating. If it's outside of there, then you got to start all over. So if you got a DUI in the midst of it, you're going to have to do it. I think that's where I see the delays often. People are looking for a job, and then all of a sudden, then they give up for a while, and then they start looking again. And it's been a while since they graduated. And if it's been too long, it's hard to find a company that can work with that. Okay. So nobody got it? There's no gotcha? Nobody's got it? Okay. All right. So we'll try again. With the, that's DUIs, DWIs, anything like that. Any failed or refusals on drug and alcohol testing, anything like that has to be at the very minimum 3 years old. The very minimum. If you went through a SAP program, it has to have been 3 years old. Yeah, clear as mud. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, really? It made sense in my head. And Bob, you're such a turd. Okay, so 6 months experience or hire on within 6 months of graduating. So if you remember, like with our flatbed, if you got your CDL, your Class A CDL, you need to go get 6 months of experience, not 6 months since you graduated, 6 months of experience so that we can get you qualified for the flatbed. 3 months if it's the Midwest flatbed, but 6 months for the over the road. Anna, you are funny. Hey, Jackie. Good to see you. Or good to see you. Hello. You see me. Moving violations. What can you have? What can't you have? what's okay, what's too many. So for moving violations, if you have a major moving violation within the last 3 years, it would disqualify you. One violation, it could be your only ticket that you've ever had, but if it's within the last 3 years and it's a major violation, it automatically knocks you out of the running. So a couple examples of that. And if you have a question on whether or not a specific ticket is going to qualify you or disqualify you, either ask it right here in the chat or contact one of our recruiters, 888-668-0698. They'll be able to tell you. So no following too closes. That is a bad one. Makes a good point. Okay, so following too close is a major moving violation. Huge. Mostly because that's where a lot of the rear end accidents happen. And we have the smart drive system in our trucks, and I know a lot of you guys already know that. But think of we've got the inward and outward facing event recorders as part of the smart drive system. The indicators, little alarms and stuff like that'll go off once you reach or go beyond the 3 second following distance. Once you get in with that 3 second following distance, those will start going off on you. So you want to give enough distance. Reason being is we want you to avoid those rear end accidents. Those rear end accidents are DOT recordable usually because there's a lot of weight behind you here. The DOT recordable, you're going to be at fault because it's usually like 99% of the time, the person that is found at fault is the one following the vehicle. Think of all the times that you've been cut off by other vehicles and you've had to slam on your brakes, right? So that it's common. I mean, even if they saw everything, it's common that you were not the one at fault, but they're going to find you at fault if you're following too close. However, because of our smart drive systems, those little cameras, or those little event recorders, are handy little suckers to show that you were not at fault when somebody darts in front of you and hits their back end on our truck, and there's plenty of space ahead of them. So those are your lifesavers. And I'm going off on a tangent, but I just wanted to make sure that following too close is major. It is a major moving violation and can result in termination. It can result in accidents that, you could get hurt. Someone else could get hurt. There could be claims. Who knows? I mean, all kinds of things. But the following distance is not a good ticket. And so many people are like, no big deal. It's a preventive ticket. They want you to avoid it. So, okay. So improper or erratic lane change, another major moving violation. Speeding 15 miles per hour or more over. Not having a valid Class A CDL, not having your valid license. That's a major moving violation and will be automatic disqualification for 3 years. There's a lot of different ones that they call it operating a motor vehicle without a valid Class A CDL, or not having the right endorsements isn't necessarily. It's just there's a lot of different wordings for it. Anything with the mobile phone is an automatic disqualification. Now remember, they can write you up for not having a hands-free device or mobile phone, or however that ticket is worded. Again, it depends on the state. But even if you weren't using it, if you were using your Qualcomm system, or if you were messing with your radio, your CB, or this is CB, by the way, this is XM. But if you were messing with one of those, if it was more than one touch, basically, they can write you up for a mobile phone device. I guess not. I thought you could for the emojis. Yep, 15 over tickets. Those are just the major. Right now, I'm talking about the major moving violations that'll automatically just kick you out, right out of it. All right. Now, that being said, if you had a couple of smaller moving violations, like a 5 over or a 10 over, or a failure to yield, or so, because sometimes those are considered more, I hate to say they're smaller violations. They're not considered major moving violations. So if you were to receive one of those, then since they're not considered major moving violations, you can actually have 2 of those within a 12-month period and qualify for us. Now that's the max. You can have 2 in the last 12 months and still qualify. You can have 3 tickets within the last 3 years and qualify. So that being said, what you have on your MVR, your motor vehicle record, and what you have on your PSP report, your pre-employment screening program, what you have on that, your PSP is also your CSA points. Like that's the accumulation of your CSA. So it's going to have any inspections that you had. It's going to have a crash report if you had any DOT recordable accidents, where a DOT officer came out on. But that's PSP, CSA. That's basically the report with your CSA points on it. Okay. But if you have 2 tickets within the last 12 months on your MVR, which would qualify you, but you have 1 ticket on your PSP that's totally separate than the tickets on your MVR, then you don't qualify if they're all within the last 12 months. Then that would disqualify you. Even if it on your PSP, even as far as it was a warning, if the officer told you, well, this is just a warning. Oh, it's no big deal. This is just a warning. I'll just write you a warning. No, talk to any of our professional drivers that are out on the road that have been given a warning and find out how well that worked for them. Because warnings you can't fight. You cannot fight a warning in court. And if they give you a warning, it still shows up on your PSP. And as far as anybody can see, it weighs exactly the same as a ticket. On your MVR, you can fight those things. You can fight a ticket. But if it's on your PSP, it can be a warning. It can be a ticket. Either way, you can't fight it. Okay. Bob says, glad one never done 15 over. Full of malarkey, aren't you? Malarkey. Okay. Same with accidents and incidents. A DOT recordable accident, that's going to kick you out for a full 3 years. A DOT recordable preventable accident. If it was non-preventable, then you'd be fine. But if you have a preventable DOT recordable accident within the last 3 years, that's an automatic disqualification. Then if you had 2 minor accidents, such as a backing incident, parking lot incident, a mirror, something like that, then those are usually minor violations. Even running over a boulder at a customer or over the landscaping or something, then those will disqualify you. Oh, thanks, Jackie. I just started yelling at you. Thanks, Jackie. You have a good day. Be careful. Be safe. But those, you can have 2 incidents within the last 12 months. You can have 3 within the last 3 years. Okay. But they have to be non-DOT recordable. If they're preventable, obviously it's the preventable ones that we're limited to. If it's non-preventable, then you can have 5. Ideally you wouldn't, but you could have multiple ones and not be and still qualify me. Mississippi. I was reading Anna's joke. What do you call a wife, the wife of a hippie? Mrs. Hippie. I think you're funny. Okay. Drug and alcohol violations. Talked about that. Safety and compliance. Another thing is work history. Work history definitely weighs for us. We've put a lot of things into effect here at Decker to make sure that when we're talking to somebody on the phone, that we're getting a really good feel for what they're looking for and whether or not we have the position, the thing that they're looking for, whether it be home time, miles, equipment, depending the relationship between them and their dispatcher, the ways of communicating. But whatever it is, whatever your number one thing is that you're looking for at the top of your list that you need, if we don't have it, then we want to make sure that it's communicated well, that Okay, this is what you're looking for. I don't have this. This is what I do have. Is this something that would work for you or not? And the reason we do that is to make sure that we're going to be a good fit. We don't want to put you into a position. It's not about hiring in masses. We're hiring the right people for the right positions. We are not hiring for numbers. We are not trying to get a gazillion people in the door and not be able to seat them, not be able to make them happy. We need to make sure that the positions that we have available are the ones that you are in fact looking for, and that you fit the positions that we're looking for, or for the positions we're looking to fill. There we go. So we do an expectation form. The expectation form is basically just a few questions here and there to make sure that we are communicating the right information to you, that you're clear on the job that you're being hired for. Because a lot of times when someone's looking for a job, they're looking at several different companies, and it can be confusing what company is what. So we want to make sure when you're coming aboard, you are very clear on what position we have available, and we know exactly what you're looking for and if we can accommodate it. We don't want to promise the world when we can't provide. And we ask the same in return. We don't want you to settle, because that's all we had. We want you to come here because this is what we had is exactly what you wanted. What we had met your expectations. And that way we can meet and exceed your expectations once you're here. That being said, so we do that ahead of time in the recruiting process. We also will have you meet with your driver manager when you're in orientation, usually on Thursday or so. You'll meet with your driver manager. You'll talk things over with them. You guys will get a good feel for how you plan your day, how you want your day managed. Your driver manager will be able to get a good feel for how you like to communicate. And those are all things that you're going to need to visit about to make sure that the relationship will go smoothly between you and the driver manager, and that both of you understand what it's going to take in order to succeed, for both of you to succeed in that. So when I'm talking about work history, I don't think a lot of people or a lot of companies have gone overboard in order to make sure that you're a good fit before you go to them. So oftentimes your work history might be less than impressive. And if you have, 9, 10 jobs in the last 3 years, you're probably not going to be a good fit for Decker. We're looking for somebody who's going to come aboard, who's going to stay, and we're looking to take good care of you. But we also know that somebody who's got better longevity has shown that they're going to give a company a chance to prove that they are the one for them. That, if something were to happen, let us fix it. Don't just bail on it. And so a lot of times somebody's work history can be a good reflection of that. So we're looking for somebody who's got not only good longevity, but also good recommendations from your previous employers. Nope. Bob had hit a bird with a trailer. No, hopefully a smaller bird. That's right. What did that bird do to you? We do have a lot to offer. Yes, lots of benefits. We have a 401k with a 30% match. We have a company paid life insurance on you, spouse and dependents. We have, the paid vacation where you can split it up. You don't have to do it the full week, all at once anymore. We've got tons of amenities in our trucks. I mean, our trucks are loaded. We have the rider policy, and we have the pet policy. We do have quite a bit available for you guys. We've got the trucks themselves have APUs and refrigerators and inverters, and they're getting microwaves, and they're getting the Epic View TVs and TV programming that's company paid. Those two things, we're in the midst of it. So there are a lot. When I checked last week, we have 100 trucks that are totally equipped, but we have about 750 trucks total. So we still have, good 650 to catch up on, hopefully by the end of the year. But we're giving ourselves a good 8-9 months to get that all taken care of for you. Oh, it was unavoidable. There are a lot of jokes going on the side here, you guys. That's right. Bob, the best benefit is to be a coworker with me. Dang right. I am missing half of the jokes over here. They're talking about deodorant. Okay. What else? Work history. Orientation is like an interview. So make sure that you're coming well prepared, get plenty of sleep. You're well rested, you're groomed, shower. This is an interview. This is basically a job interview. We've done everything we could up front, got the paperwork, got you cleared with work history. You still have your drug test. We do both the hair follicle and the urinalysis. You still have your PCE, which is like range of motion and resistance. You still have your physical. You've got your driving test. You're meeting, this is part of the orientation. You're meeting with the trainers, the orientation leaders, and you're meeting with your driver manager. That part of the interview, you need to make sure that please make sure that you are well groomed. You are representing Decker by this time. When you go to our customers, you're representing Decker. And we pride ourselves in appearance. We pride ourselves in quality equipment. We pride ourselves in all of that. So please don't be coming in sweatpants. Don't be coming in flip-flops. Don't be coming in spaghetti straps. This is an interview. And please treat it as such. And the same when you're out on the road. Have some pride in yourself. Patrick made a great example a couple weeks ago. Patrick's one of our refrigerated drivers. And hello, if you're on here, Patrick. But just having some confidence in yourself, or having some pride in your own being, so that you take care of you. You are here. Look at that. You're just being so quiet on the thread here. But have some pride in yourself and take care of yourself, whether it's for your own health or whether it's just, it's all for your own health, in my opinion. But you just take care of yourself. You feel better about yourself if if you do take some pride in yourself. So there you go. That's have a positive attitude. If you're going to be grumpy pants, you're going to get everybody around you to be grumpy. So find something positive. Do a gratitude journal. I'm all about those. I love those. Do a gratitude journal. Give yourself 3 things that you're thankful for the day before you even get out of bed. 3 things you're thankful for, and keep those things top of mind. And the way that you treat other people is the way that they're going to treat you. So when you get pulled over or you get pulled into a way station, don't give them attitude. Give them respect. Now I'm just kind of went on a blank. Who just said this to me? I'm trying to think of who it was. Can't remember. It was just on Facebook a moment ago. But somebody had reached out to us, was asking about the cameras and why we have the inward facing cameras and not having any trust in our drivers. I said, that is not the case. Flat out isn't the case. Well, I didn't even have to argue or even give any input on there, because we had someone defending us for us. And what I mean by that is the cameras are there, or anything, not even just the cameras, but when you're coming aboard to a company, you're brand new to them. You're brand new to us if you're just coming aboard. You have to earn the respect. You have to earn the loyalty. You have to earn those things. It's not just given to you. And you're going to get the respect and you're going to get the loyalty from us. And most likely we're going to get it in return, because if we're taking care of you, odds are you're going to take care of us. It's just like reciprocating the attitude. And so this gentleman I cannot remember who it was that said it. And I'm so sorry if you're on here, because I couldn't remember who said it. But just like he says, it's not that we don't trust you. Absolutely not. But we do need to have you earn the fact that that's taken off. That in this case, it was the inward facing event recorders. we don't know you well enough. So we don't have the loyalty or obviously we'll have the respect from day one, but you don't have the loyalty or that kinship yet to know that all is good. We don't need to worry about protecting you. You've got this. You know what you're doing out there. And I just thought that he said it really well, and I'm not doing it justice. And I'm really sorry that I can't give credit where credit is due, but I appreciate him sticking up for that. And it was nice to hear. And we want to do the same for you guys and make sure that you're being respected and recognized for all that you have done. I missed something on here. Patrick, were you in town? That's right. You were in Fort Dodge, weren't you? Yep. Evan's on here, says, hi, Diana. Good to see you. All right. I'm getting long-winded. I really apologize, you guys, but you know me. You know that's how it works. Let's talk about some of the positions that we have available so that you know it. If you're asking about a certain area, throw it in the chat. Let me answer you right out of the way and make sure that I can take care of that. Amy, wear a Grizz shirt. I don't think the Grizz shirt's a bad thing. I don't think so. And jeans are all right. I'm not saying you can't wear the jeans. I'm just saying don't wear things that are wholly and like ripped and like halter tops or belly shirts, things like that. Daytona Beach. So Flatbed it is, huh, Evan? All right, so a couple updates. I do have, as of yesterday, I have one Las Vegas over-the-road refrigerated position. One. I have a couple of Reno, Nevada positions. Again, that's over-the-road refrigerated. So those are going to put you out at least 2, maybe even up to 3 weeks out at a time. I figure about a day and a half for every 7 days you're out. So that's the refrigerated, over-the-road refrigerated position. We do have a couple of refrigerated home weekly positions out of the Western Division. So if you live in Kennewick, Washington, Seattle, Washington, Missoula, Montana, or Los Angeles, California, I've got a couple locations there. It's for it. This is bent. That hurts. Oh my God. Then we do have weekly home time. So you do need to live within a 50-mile radius in order to qualify for that. So that's that. Our over-the-road refrigerated is 2 to 3 weeks out, and it's coast to coast. We hire in definitely it's a lot broader area that we hire. So if you're wondering whether or not we have refrigerated, just call a recruiter. They'll tell you. 888-668-0698. Pretty much anywhere in Washington for the most part. You're going to be fine. Along I-5 in California, you're going to be good. The Midwest is real heavy for us, especially the upper Midwest. Texas, around Dallas or Houston, Amarillo, Lubbock, right there. We've got freight for you. Atlanta, Georgia, good spot for us. Southeast is more flatbed for us. We do pretty much all flatbed down in that area. Flatbed pay, since I didn't mention this earlier, flatbed pay runs between 47 and 54 cents a mile, depending on your experience. 10 cents of that's going to be per diem. And you get a penny raise after 90 days. You get a penny raise every year on your anniversary until you cap out. The cap for the flatbed, the Bessemer flatbed, well, actually both flatbed divisions, is 54 cents a mile. So 54 is the cap, which is also the highest starting pay that we have as well, depending on if you've got 7+ years experience of flatbed experience. Okay. Refrigerated, if you live in the Midwest, we do pay a couple extra cents per mile if you're living in the Midwest because you're running shorter lengths of haul. So we're compensating you for the short hauls in comparison to the over the road, which is over 1,100 for an average length of haul, when the Midwest is more like 550 for an average length of haul. So plus, if you are in the over the road division, which pays anywhere from 38 to 48, because remember we do train in that one, we do hire students. So 38 to 48 cents a mile. Then we do have short haul pay anywhere from 7 to 27 cents more per mile, or 7 to 25 more cents per mile. Yeah, 7 to 25. And then in the Midwest short haul, it's anywhere from 2 to 20 cents more per mile, depending on anything less than 400. That one pays 40 to 50 cents a mile, 10 cents per miles per diem, and all of it. 10 cents per miles per diem, penny raise after 90 days, and a penny raise every year on your anniversary. Both of those, as well as the van is going to pay the same as the Midwest Refrigerated. All of those are going to have a $2,500 bonus that pays on your 1-year anniversary. You do need to run a minimum of 110,000 miles to get that, but it pays all at once, one lump sum on your 1-year anniversary. So there you go. We talked about our Midwest guaranteed pay for the refrigerated. We didn't talk about the flatbed because Jeremy was asking about it and for where he was at, and I knew he didn't want flatbed. But we do have a $13.50 guaranteed pay if you live anywhere from Mason City, Iowa to Fort Dodge, into the Chicago area, up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back to Mason City, anywhere along there. It's $13.50 a week. You do have to meet the requirements. So no major moving, or no, making things up. Or get your paperwork in. No load refusals. Have 100% on-time delivery, and also no driver service failures, and be available for dispatch. So those are the requirements for the Midwest Refrigerated and Midwest Flatbed guaranteed pay. What's this say? Evan says, I'm not sure if you've already went over this, but could you talk about the training process for flatbed when you finish with the current subject? Pay, what to expect. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So we did talk a little bit about this, but I want to make sure we're hitting on it. So we've had some recent changes here, Evan, and I don't know, like just recent changes. Bye, Patrick. So if you are a new student, if you just recently graduated from school, then you'll have to get a full 6 months of over-the-road tractor trailer experience before you can come aboard to Decker. That's brand new, and that's for our over-the-road flatbed division. Our Midwest flatbed division, you can have as little as 3 months of over-the-road experience, but we are not taking students directly from school, PTDI certified schools, in the flatbed divisions. So that's the first thing. Now, if you have tractor trailer experience, and forgive me, Evan, because I don't have your application in front of me, so I don't know what it looks like. But if you don't have, or if you do have tractor trailer experience, and it's at least 6 months of over the road, this is the type of training that I will talk about right now. So the training for tractor trailer experience, you've got the 6 months, you come into orientation, you go through your PCE test and your physical and your hair follicle and your urinalysis. You get your driving test. You go through the company policies and procedures. This is pretty much all of orientation, by the way. You're going through all of that. You'll meet with a driver manager. Now, if you're going to need to go with a trainer for more hands-on load and tarping securement, then they will set you up with a trainer. But if you've got 6 months, what they'll do most likely is just have you go through the tarping and securement training, and that's anywhere from 1 to 5 days. It's usually 1 to 3, but we can go up as much as 5 days for the securement training. We pay you $100 a day while you're doing the securement training, and we do bungees, so you'll be going through that whole process. Now, with orientation, it pays $800 for orientation. And we split that. Well, not only $800, because I mentioned this earlier too, is you get a $100 Visa gift card when the physicals and drug and alcohol tests and all that stuff come back, usually by Wednesday. When all that comes back, you'll get a $100 Visa gift card. You'll get the first $400 of your $800 for orientation on a comm check before you're dispatched out. We'll hand that to you. We're able to front that to you instead of having to wait for all of it on your first check. But the remainder will be on your first check. And then you'll get the remaining $400. And then after that, you'll get the $100 a day for the training, for this tarping and securement training. And from there, you'll be dispatched out. If they feel that you need to go out with a trainer, then they'll put you with a trainer. talk it over with you to decide, a week with a trainer is going to be fine. It's $500 a week if that's the case. And then come back and you would be starting at 47 cents a mile in the flatbed. And then you'll get a penny raise after 90 days in the flatbed. So then you'd be up at 48, and then a penny raise every year on your anniversary. So by year 1, you'd be at 49. So that's how the orientation training would work for our Bessemer over-the-road flatbed division. And like I said, that just changed. And that's why we are doing this announcement, because we've had, it's brand new. So we've got to get everybody updated on what our requirements are going to be. Okay. So for the, you're welcome. For the Midwest flatbed, it's going to be very similar. You will probably have to go out with a trainer since it's 3 months instead of 6. So that's going to be a little bit different. With refrigerated, we do take students in refrigerated still. That is still staying the same. Refrigerated students. It still has to be a PTDI certified school, 160 hours or more. So that part's not going to change. Anybody have any questions? Don't forget we've got the short haul pay. We've slapped on a guaranteed pay on that one too. So that one's $1,000 guaranteed pay for the short haul. And what's sweet about it is, how it is, well, not everybody's this way, but you know how a lot of you are looking for a really good home time. You want more home time. I need to be home. I get it. But you struggle because when you go home, you're not making the type of money that you're making over the road. And so there's just not that balance. Okay. Our short haul pay out of Fort Dodge is $1,000 guaranteed pay. And you can make more than that, but $1,000 guaranteed pay. That is actually a couple hundred more than what our Fort Dodge, our short haul was making last year. They were making about an average of $800, getting home every other day, sometimes daily, at least 3 times a week, and then home on the weekend. So that's what they're doing. If you are interested in that and live in either Fort Dodge, there's a couple places. If you live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Fort Dodge, Sioux City, Omaha, I think that's it. Those are the locations that we will hire for the Fort Dodge short haul. So there you have it. If that sounds good to you, you let us know. All you need to do is get a hold of one of the recruiters, 888-668-0698. They will give you more details. They will check on your area because that's the most important. And then the fallback pay is the pay per mile. So, based off experience and everything. Oh, Amy, bad weather-related comments need to stay to yourself. Just joking. Okay. Whatever weather she gets passes over to me. I'm not a big fan. If it's not sunshine, I'm not a big fan. Yes, we do have local positions out of Fort Dodge. Well, I don't know if you really call it local because you're going to Nebraska. So Fort Dodge, Iowa to Blair, Nebraska. We have an 8 p.m. shift and we have an 11 p.m. shift. Don't forget, you guys, time management is super duper important, but there's also night driving in a lot of these runs. So obviously this one, it's all night driving. And then we've got some others that there's, if you're running a lot of the short hauls or you're running around Chicago or, depending on how you're planning your day out, there's going to be some night driving, Chicago driving. Amy says, any smoke in your area? No, not really. Although it does look like it north of me. I should take you. If I could detach this, I would show you. I don't want any either. This time last year, it was horrible. You guys be careful out on the road. It's hot. Make sure your air conditioning units are working. All that good stuff, right? Cool. All right, I have held you hostage for a while, so I appreciate you guys being here with me today. If you have any questions, like I said, you can always leave it in the chat. I will continue to answer those. But you can get a hold of one of the recruiters at 888-668-0698. Make sure that you ring the bell or you click the notification and subscribe button, and the notification will let you know every time that we go live or every time we've got a new video coming out. And then if you follow us on Facebook, not only will you be here on YouTube every Tuesday at noon Central, but on Facebook at what time? 4 p.m. Central. Ronan, what did you say? Amy says, not here either. Helena and Missoula have huge fires. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know Ronan did. That's up by my parents. I did see Helena's though. That's pretty, that one looks like it's gotten out of control. Pretty nasty. 'Tis the season for Montana. It's fire season, right? Everybody jokes about construction season. We got fire season. Yeah. Boo. Okay, you guys be careful. We will see you next Monday, if not before. Take it. Oh, I almost forgot. Goodness gracious. Hey, where's my thing? Scavenger Hunt. You have 1 day. 1 day. 1 day. That's it. Don't forget to get that in. The submissions for the Springtime Scavenger Hunt have to be in by tomorrow at, I'm going to go midnight. Tomorrow midnight. Has to be in by the end of the 31st. So once it hits the first, it's off, cut off. And you can win $500, $250, or $100 in that scavenger hunt. So if you are, if you only have 1 or 2 submissions to get them in. And you can actually get this on our webpage. So our website is drivedecker.com. If you go to the blog, it's on our blog. There you go. Yes, send them all to marketing@deckermail.com. There we go. Cool. All right. Now I'll let you guys go. Have an awesome rest of your week. Please take care, and we will see you next Monday. Monday.